Today we're going to take a look at the Echo Fighter Knight subclass found in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. You might be actually surprised which race I'm excited to try out with this. Spoiler alert, is that guy. Today, as we begin to take a look at the Echo Fighter Knight subclass, we're going to pick a race. Now, you want to pick anything that has high strength, high constitution. You have a lot of options out there with your half orc or just your regular orc. You could also pick, variant human if you want to pick a feat at level 1. But the class that we're building with the Echo Knight really cues off of this idea that there's a shadow side of yourself. And I thought, let's make a beast hide shifter. I think it'll be interesting for roleplay aspects, and it gives us a lot of the things that we're looking for. It gives us 2 to constitution, gives us 1 to strength. It also allows us to have this shifting ability, which allows us to bonus action and gain temporary hit points equal to your level plus your constitution modifier. And I can use this every time I use a short rest, so it's a great little heal. But because we're a beast hide, we also pick up the shifting feature that when we use that, we gain another d6 temporary hit points and a +1 bonus to your armor class. Great for a melee class, a fighter. We're going to be up in the front, having an extra bonus to our armor class, and having more ways to self-heal yourself is fantastic. So this is a great option for this. And as we go and take a look at I went ahead and made this guy up at level 5 so we can kind of see where we went. Proficiencies, you pick what you like. I took perception and survival. Fighting style, we take great weapon fighting. We definitely want to be using a 2-hander. This build is absolutely built around having a 2-hander. Second wind, typical fighter thing, another way for us to get a heal. Action surge, tried and true. Whenever you absolutely have to bring some stuff down, this gives you an extra way to attack or move or whatever. But the big thing that we're talking about today is the Echo Knight feature. Now, the Echo Knight is this new ability for the subclass that we can take at level 3. It allows us to use a bonus action to create an echo of yourself. Now, the way the book described this is that this is like another version of yourself, like almost like a flashpoint, like it's from another timeline or something like that. But I think there's a lot of creative liberty that we can take with this. Let's say we're playing this in Faerun or maybe in Eberron or whatever. We're not really playing around with time as much. But maybe you can make this, and the reason I chose the shifter was I thought, what if this is like a Jekyll and Hyde thing? What if the shadow version of yourself is the more feral side or the more human side, and you're kind of dancing between the two? I think there's a lot of really cool role play opportunity for that. But there's just a lot of cool ideas out there of how this shadow side of yourself operates. Is it something other people can see or not? A lot of fun stuff we could do with that. So anyway, so as a bonus action, we can make this. It has an AC 14 plus your proficiency modifier. It only has 1 hit point. So it can die pretty easily, but there's no limit to how many times you can make it. You can only have 1 out at a time, though. Now, why have the Echo? The Echo is not a NPC running around, so it won't give you flanking. As a bonus action, you can teleport magically between the two, so it allows you to kind of Nightcrawler bamf from one position to the other. And then when you take your attack action, you can actually make that attack from your space or the space of the Echo. Now, what's interesting is while the Echo doesn't give you flanking, if the Echo is flanking, well, then you can just have your attack go through that. So it's a little way to kind of work around the rules, but I think you're going to be attacking with advantage a lot with this ability. And also, when a creature that you can see within 5 feet of your Echo moves 5 feet from it, you can use your action to make an opportunity attack through it. So there's a lot of cool ways to kind of guarantee that you're getting lots of attacks every round with just that. But we also have this ability we get at level 3 called Unleash Incarnation, which you can use a number of times a day equal to your Constitution modifier. Again, everything we're building off of this kind of cues off of your Constitution modifier. And what it allows you to do is when you take the attack action, you can take an additional attack from the Echo's position. So at level 3, it allows us to, if you think of it, we can get our normal attack, we might get an opportunity attack, and then we get another attack on top of that using this ability, 3-4 times per long rest. That's really, really strong. If you couple that with, you also could, front load that with your action surge and unleash our incarnation, you could swing a lot of times early. It's a lot of attacks. So at level 5, for ASI at level 4, sorry, I would go ahead and take the Great Weapon Master feat. Because we're going to be attacking a lot with advantage, taking the -5 penalty to get +10 to the attack's damage, I would do this almost all the time unless I knew I was fighting something with a ridiculously high AC. I just think with the amount of times we're going to be attacking, this more often than not will hit and do a lot of damage. So we're going to have a lot of things that we can do with our bonus action between the shifting ability for the race, the ability, the second wind, and then also unleashing the incarnation and moving around and doing all these things. So you've got a lot that you can do. You're not just a sword and board kind of, boring hack and slash fighter. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with this. So what we're going to do now is take a look at abilities. I did point by 15 in strength with the +1 to the race. That's going to get you to 16. 10 in dex, 14 in constitution, another +2 for the race. That's going to bring that to, these two will be 16. I actually put 10 in intelligence, 14 in wisdom. I just don't see this guy being very charismatic. I mean, you could switch the intelligence and charisma around. Personally, I think you're a big kind of brutish shifter, and I think low charisma kind of fits the what we're doing. Now I actually put folk hero, even though I know I just said we're gonna have low charisma, but maybe he's gruff, but people like him. I don't know. I just like the idea that I get animal handling for this. I also want insight. I'm picking all of these skills that queue off of wisdom. If you saw earlier when I went over here, proficiencies, I took other stuff. I took perception, I took survival. All of this is based off of wisdom, which I've got a 14. When you're making a fighter, you need to bring something else to the table other than fighting, and having some of these skills, horseback riding, or you know, maybe you can sniff out if someone's lying. It kind of goes with the whole animalistic thing. It's kind of like that idea. For equipment, standard fare, chainmail. I picked a great sword. I know a lot of people picked a great axe. The D12, I think mathematically is a little bit better. I personally am a huge Conan fan, so I am going to pick the great sword. I just aesthetically like it, and 2d6, it's fun. Okay, so if we just take a look at the base level 5, now this is no magic items, this is no upgrade of different things. This is just straight, this is what you started with. So here's where your stats look. 49 hit points is pretty strong. Pretty decent armor. Remember, it's 16, but you'll get a +1 when you shift, so this will be 17, or whatever armor you're using. Now, the cool thing is when we go down here and take a look at bonus action, this is one of the things that I like. There's a lot of things we can do. So you got to think, you want to be using every action available to you between your movement, between your attack, reaction, which we're pretty much going to be using that for opportunity attacks. But as our bonus action, we've got a lot of things we can do. We're going to be manifesting an echo. So that's the first thing you're going to do when we get into combat, is have this thing around, or maybe you just have this thing on all the time. Like I always have this thing on. There's no limit to how long this thing lasts. It's there. So I would pretty much always have this around to kind of save you this. So when you get into combat, your echo's already there. So you have that. You can teleport between your two locations with the bonus action. You can also use your bonus action to second wind, but I would use that as my secondary heal. My primary heal is going to be the shift, because this also gets us hit points, but it also gets you the +1 to AC. Now, just remember, you get temporary hit points to here, but what it doesn't show here, you actually have to go and take a look at the race itself, as you get the extra D6 to this as well. So it feature and traits. We look down here, where's that shifting feature? So whenever you shift, I'm going to get the plus, right now it's at 8 because of my level and everything, but +8 temporary hit points, and then another D6 on top of that. So D6 +8, that's a pretty big heal. It's temporary hit points, but still, it's good. So between that, there's a lot of things that we can do with this. I think this is a pretty fun guy to play. Now, where do you go from here? Now, personally, I know we talk a lot about multi-classing, but let's just Honestly, I think this is something I'd want to just play straight up. I think what you do is after this at level 6, we're going to continue to move up your constitution. We get a lot of benefit for having a bonus to your constitution. I think 2 points of that will give us an extra time to use Unleash Incarnation. It also gives you more hit points. It also gives you better temporary heal off of your shift. Echo Avatar, you can temporarily transfer your conscience to your Echo. This is very interesting. As an action, you can see through your Echo's eyes and hear through its ears, and during this time you are deaf and blind. You can sustain this effect for up to 10 minutes, and it can end at any time. While your Echo is being used this way, it can be up to 1,000 feet away from you without being destroyed. Okay, this is your Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi teleporting himself across the galaxy, or 1,000 feet. This is what this is. It's a great way to send your shadow in to spy, to sneak around. And also remember, you can, even though it's 1,000 feet away, you could then, once you get it to where you want it to go, you could then magically teleport there because it doesn't require how long you are. So basically, you could move it 1,000 feet and then pop, you're there. That is crazy fun. Yeah, I definitely want to play around with that. Level 8, we're going to continue to pop up our Constitution. So we get that as far up. I think at this point we're at 20. So we got 5 uses of that now. Level 9, we're Indomitable. When you can re-roll a saving throw that you fail, if you do so, you must use the new roll. That's really awesome. So once per long rest, this is going to save you with those deck saves. I'm looking at you, Dragon. This'll help you survive that. Shadow Martyr, you can make your Echo throw itself in front. This is cool. Basically, you can have your Shadow take a hit. Really cool ability for that. We get another extra attack. So at level 5, we're attacking twice. At level 11, 3 times. And then we just kind of keep going from here. Once you get your Constitution all the way up, at this point, let's get your Strength all the way up. So that's what we're going to do to these levels, is we're just continuing to pop up our strength, because we want to cap out our strength and we want to cap out our constitution. Level 15. Now let's get interesting. You've learned to absorb the fleeting magic of your Echo. When an Echo of yours is destroyed by taking damage, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2d6 plus your constitution modifier. Wow. So you can just keep healing if it dies. I think between you dancing around in the different locations between you and it, you almost want your Echo to be kind of suicidal. Pretty awesome. And because we capped out our constitution, we can do this 5 times. I mean, this thing is nuts. Because you got to think, if it's taking the hits for the martyr, you can guarantee that it dies, that you heal off of. That's crazy. Legion of One, you can use a bonus action to create 2 echoes, so you can have up to 2 of these up at a time. And then at 20th level, we can attack 4 times. Now, what you do with these last 2, lot of options here. You could start, shoring up some of your other abilities once you get your strength and your constitution up. This is kind of your flex. I like Heavy Armor Master. I also like, you could pick like a resilient dexterity or something like that. That would allow you to get advantage. No, sorry. Come on. This is one of those things. If you're playing this high, you have to kind of think of what saves am I running into that's going to kill me. Maybe having, resilient dexterity. This gives you proficiency in that saving throw. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, just kind of at this point, you just have to kind of see what you want to do. You want to be more of a tank. Maybe you want to get your wisdom higher. It's a lot of options. So I'm going to leave these 2 blank. That's dealer's choice there. So overall, I think the Echo Knight is a super cool class. I'm really excited to see all the different ways that you can role play the Echo. I also think it's very cool how much you can, kind of nightcrawler bamf around the battlefield. It gives the fighter some amazing mobility. That's just crazy. So I'm super excited. I think this is a very, very well designed class. So, hand clap to all the designers on Mercer and his team for putting this together. Super awesome, excited to play it. And I think it's kind of fills a hole that we kind of needed. It's a very, very interesting fighter to play. So, if you have played the Echo Knight, I would love to hear your feedback. What do you think? Did you run into, having too many things to do on your bonus action? Is the Echo Knight something that, we should see more at the tables? I'm looking forward to trying it out. So if you have any questions, comments, of experience, please leave a comment below. And as always, keep rolling with advantage. Thanks.